Alright guys, well, welcome back. We got most of the Jeep finished now, and so I am standing in this makeshift Hellraiser scene, getting these extra parts ready for some color. So I'm just wiping these things down right now, but they've all been sanded with 320 paper. And I am going to spray some plastic adhesive promoter on these parts. Then we'll hit them with the sanding primer and then some color and clear. So stay tuned. Okay, so yeah, these little fender flares are made from ABS plastic, I believe, which can be pretty hard to get paint to stick to. So like I said, these are already scuffed up with 320, and we're going to use some adhesion promoter. Oh, I got to do a little more work on this one here. That's pretty ugly. So let me take care of that, and then we'll get all these things ready for paint. Alright, well, first we're going to use a little Bulldog adhesion promoter to help the paint stick. Just a light coat all over.
Alright, well, it's time to wipe down all these parts one more time and get them ready for some color. The ball bin sanded with 400 grit wet.
Alright, here's the finished product. I put 2 coats of base coat and 2 medium wet coats of clear. This time on the clear, I mixed it 3-to-1 instead of just 2-to-1. So it sprayed a lot better this morning. I need just a little polish. I see a little dust in there. That's one of the things that's spraying in a garage. You don't have the proper downdraft spray booth. But yeah, we'll polish out the dust after a couple of days. And these should look good. Yeah, the mirror has a lot of dust on top. I can see that. So, yeah, there you go. Now you can see the kind of dust. So yeah, we'll give these a good polishing and reinstall. Alright, so here's one of the fender flares as I painted it. Just a little bit of orange peel. You can see the ceiling and the reflection. But overall, not a bad job. But here's another flare that we sanded with 2000 grit. And you can see the reflection is gone, but it still has a nice little sheen to it. You could probably bolt that on as is and it'd be okay if you're into that look. But here is the polished one. There you go. It's a curved surface, but I think you can see the ceiling pretty well there. Very nice. Yeah, that's all 3.
Okay, well this sucks. It's Saturday morning, 7 a.m. and I am taping off this Jeep again because we went through into the base coat in a couple areas trying to polish out the paint. If you remember the hood, we had some areas that had white specks in the clear coat from where the clear was crystallizing, catalyzing too quickly due to the heat. Well, we had a lot of that here too. You can see a little bit over here still. We've sanded most of it out. I thought we were going to be able to get rid of it without having to respray it, and as you can see, boom, boom, I was wrong. So this whole panel here up to the Jeep has been wet sanded with 400. So I want to take this thing off. I'm going to put one more coat of base coat on there, and then we're going to clear it again, and then hopefully this side will be done. I'm using Blue's painter tape today to mask this off. I don't usually use the blue stuff, but I don't want any paint lifting on me. So we'll see how this works. Masking is done. Tack it off now. Alright, so I've decided to back mask this wheel well, just to help keep the dust down. Hey, kitty. What's she up to? Alright, well here is the rear quarter repainted. Looks pretty good. I'm not able to see much here on the side, it's in the shade. Oh, there you go, you can see my legs. Alright, so it's not too bad, but we can improve upon that with a little bit of wet sanding and polishing. So let's get at it. Alright, so here's the procedure. We got some 3M 1500 grit. We're going to knock the high spots off with the 1500, knock the dust out of it. And then we're going to quickly follow up with the 2000 until the sanding marks from the 1500 are gone. And then we'll hit up our cut and polish. So let's get her done. Nice and easy.
Well, in case you guys don't know how to wet sand, I'll give you a quick tutorial. I am not trying to get rid of all that orange peel with one pass of my 1500 grit. In some places with this soft block, it's pretty close to 100% elimination of the orange peel. But there's still a lot of areas that have some orange peel. Some of the bigger areas, like right through here, you guys can't see it on the video. I'm just going to hit it again real quickly. Not really keeping my block flat for this. I'm just trying to take off some extra peel. And then, dry it with a towel. This one's pretty wet. I dropped it in my water. But it's hot enough out here, it evaporates pretty quickly. And then you can look at your orange peel, kind of look at your pattern. You don't want to sand too closely to features like this hinge, because this is hard to polish around. I like to leave about a ½ inch border around these things. I'd rather this area have a little bit of orange peel than to have sanding marks that I cannot remove later. So about ½ inch from this hinge. I'm probably a ½ inch from this Jeep cutout here. When I go to 2000 grit, I might get a little closer to this one because I can polish up pretty close to this Jeep cutout. So this is almost done. I just want to do a little bit more 1500 grit through there, maybe a little bit right there, and then around this edge here. But yeah, I'm spending this is a pretty big panel here, and I'm going to spend probably 30 minutes wet sanding with a 1500 grit. That'll kind of give you an idea of how much time you may or may not should apply to your wet sanding. So let me finish up real quick, and then we'll switch to the 2000. Alright, so here you can see the back taillight area, and I'm going to zoom in close so you can see this. Alright, so you can see now that I have not eliminated all of that orange peel. You can try to get the reflection there from the sunlight. There's still a little bit in there. And I'm going to be taking that out with the 2000 grit. You can see I left a nice little border around that tailgate hinge. That's going to be hard to polish if you get too close. Down here on the bottom, my pad actually fits perfect right across here. So I'm not worried about this bottom edge. If you remember before, I had those two areas on the side here, boom, boom, where I had sanded through the clear coat into the base coat. If you have a high spot in your body work and you wet sand it with a block, you're much more likely to to cut through that clear coat. I'm pretty confident in my body work for the most part. Boom, boom. So yeah, I was using the block. But for the second pass, for the 2000 grit, I'm going to go ahead and get a piece of paper, and we're going to do it by hand. That'll allow my hand to follow the contour, so if there's a high spot or a low spot, I'll be able to drop into it or glide over it and not cut into the clear coat excessively. So let's get some 2000 grit. Alright, got 2000 grit by hand. Now we're working it up close to the edges. You're much less likely to cut through the clear coat with the 2000 grit. This is your first time cutting and buffing. You may want to start with the 2000 grit. You may not want to do the 1500. This Jeep has 2 coats of clear coat on it, which is pretty similar to a lot of factory clear coats. It might be a little thicker than the factory, but not a whole lot. And so I'm just using finger pressure, it's nice and easy. Just kind of running it around the edges here. Edges that are easy to polish. And really, you're kind of thinking, you're actually polishing with the sandpaper too. You want to make I like to make little circles. Some people say, crisscross patterns and stuff like that. That's great for getting your bodywork straight. But at this point, I just want to smooth the paint. If this was a show car, yes. You want to keep that crisscross pattern because you don't want to a chance for any little way. I mean, it's got to be dead on perfect, especially in black when you do a show card. My Trans Am is a good example of that. I mean, it's perfect. One thing about the Trans Am is that it was so perfect. Somebody leaned against the door, and you can actually see where they leaned into the sheet metal. That is how good it used to be. So sometimes perfection is hard to maintain. And this is the teenage TJ Dream Jeep. Not a show Jeep. So we're just going just like that. Here I can see the water is drying. There's some more orange peel. Someone can this area again. And if you use the 1500 grit, you will probably spend about the same amount of time with the 2000 grit as you did with the 1500. Alright, so give me a few more minutes to finish this up. Well, give me half an hour to finish this up, and then I'll show you how it looks. What I'm going to do is I'm going ahead and wet sand from, say, here down to the 2000 grit, make this side look really nice. Then I'll show you the upper and lower in just a few seconds, okay? And you're just trying to polish that paint. So you're just polishing plastic. That's all you're doing. Polishing the plastic. You might notice me getting a little closer to the hinges with my 2000 grit. I think they're starting to get a little bit worn. Open up and get to this fresh side right here to finish up. Oh yeah. Now you feel the difference, it's cutting now. Nice and easy. Alright, so let's check this out. On the bottom is the 2000 grit. You can almost see a little bit of a sheen here. A little bit of a reflection, not too bad. So it's getting shinier. Up on top, you can see a lot more of the orange peel in there. That's the 1500 grit. Like I said, I left a bit in there. But down here on the bottom, looks pretty good. Might be a few small dimples, like right over there, you can see a couple small dimples. That doesn't concern me. The bottom part is ready to polish. So I'm going to get that top part ready, and then we'll break out the buffer. Alright, so I've got this panel sanded with 2000 grit. It is ready for some polish. And what I use for the polishing is this Porter cable random dual action polisher. Variable speed control, comes with a Velcro pad on there. Right now I've got the yellow pad on there, which is considered to be a more aggressive pad. The firmer the foam, the more this pad is going to cut into your paint. And since we're doing our initial polishing of 2000 grit sanding scratches, this actually works quite well. I also have an orange pad for like removing swirl marks. Whenever I wash a car, especially my Trans Am, because it's black and there's no clear coat on it, it gets a lot of swirl marks, scratches from drying. And a light swirl remover with this orange pad is awesome. Just bought this black pad. I've never used this black pad before, but it's supposed to be good for applying polish when you're all said and done. So I might try this out on one of my cars down the road. We'll see how that goes. But right now, I'm using the tougher yellow pad. All these come from Lake Country Manufacturing. They've got the little dimples. Look for the ones with the dimples. And let's get it done. Oh, and for polishing compound, this is the best stuff I've found. If you've got something you like more, shoot me an email, shoot me a remark, let me know what you got. But this is the Professional Ultra Cut Compound. It's extra heavy cut, up to 12 on their 0 to 12 Richter scale. This does the trick. I mean, it does a really nice job. I like this stuff a lot. Alright, well, this is a dry pad. So I'm going to get a little bit of stuff in there. And a little bit more here and there. Rub this on. I got this thing set to 5 right now, which is a little bit on the fast side, but gives me more cut. If I was waxing or removing swirl marks, I'd probably have about 3 or 4. Now you want to avoid the edges. Whenever you're working on a curved surface, it's easier to burn through the paint, through the clear coats into the base coat. So be careful on the curved edges because you're concentrating pressure on a smaller area. It's easy to go through. Even though you're pushing the same, the effective pressure per square inch goes up quite a bit on a curved surface. So watch out for that. And don't overheat it. If it gets too hot, you'll melt the paint. It's just plastic. Wow, it's so hot out here, it's already drying. So I'm going to apply some more on a pad. It's supposed to be 105 degrees today, and it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm in the shade, but it's still pretty hot. Alright, let's get a clean, dry towel, not the one we were using before, a dry one, and we'll wipe this off. Kind of scratchy. Well, towel, this one's kind of scratching a little bit. It's probably too old. But you can already see the shine coming back. Let's see how this towel does. Well, that sounds a lot better. No, it's still kind of scratchy. Hang on. I got some microfiber towels. Let me grab some of those. So I've got my microfiber towel. Let's do this some more. And you can still see a little bit of the 2000 grit sanding marks. So you just keep going until you're done, until you're happy with it. You saw how fast I was going on that edge there, on the curve. You don't want to burn it. Okay, now we're getting some. There you go, we're getting some. That's looking pretty good. I can still see some sanding marks in here, so I want to keep at it with a polish until I'm happy. So I'm not going to show you all that. But that is how you polish. Alright, check it out. Yeah, that's the Jeep. That's not a mirror. Nice.
Alright, well, here it is with the fender flares. Looking pretty good. So now we need to start working on getting that roll bar reinstalled and the interior.